Now, here for you, this is News Views, a newscast for Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, and the world. This is Bill Ratner speaking. And now, Michael Badger.
Hello and welcome to NewsView. And the top story tonight is funding cuts at the University of Illinois campus in Champaign-Urbana mean that the Center on Democracy and a Multicultural Society has to be closed or has closed. The director of the center, George Chapa, will remain at the school as a professor. Some of the center's services will continue under $150,000 from the Campus Research Board. Chapa said his office's budget was $335,000, and other staffers were transferred to other parts of the university. The center opened in 2002. And in other news, Morgan Stanley has cut 2011 global growth forecast for 2011 and 2012, saying that the U.S. and the Eurozone were dangerously close to a recession. This comes as many problems face people in our economies, both in Europe and in America. They say here that, quote, a negative feedback loop between weak growth and soggy asset markets now appeared to be in the making in Europe and the U.S., quote unquote. And they say growth will be hit by the prospect of fiscal tightening in the U.S. and Europe, where politicians are trying to appease markets by reining in public spending, it added. They also said that that inflation unexpectedly quickened in China this July, which means pressure has been put on the central bank to keep prices in check with more interest rate rises, even as its robust growth showed signs of cooling. That according to Thomson Reuters, CNBC.com. That's by Reuters at CNBC.com. And in other news, from computing.co.uk, IBM has unveiled a chip that mimics the human brain. They've made these chips that mean they are cognitive computers, and claiming that they are able to learn through experience, find patterns, and generate ideas and understand the outcomes a lot like a human brain. Scientists built two working prototype designs, and both cores contain 256 neurons with one that has 1,144 programmable synapses, and others with 65,536 learning synapses. They say the potential real-world applications of the technology, they say tsunami warnings could be predicted by these microchips. And firefighters are checked for the plague after after an unusual house call came, the truck was fumigated. This according to CBS News in Connecticut. This this took place in Waterbury, Connecticut, and people there are concerned as firefighters dealt with beams and unlike when they're faced with beams and other fire hazards, these firefighters were taken to Waterbury Hospital to be undressed, scrubbed on, and checked for flea-borne diseases. And the fire truck was fumigated, as I said, as it says here, at connecticut.cbslocal.com. The fire chief adds that there is one thing he's found in telling this particular story. He says most people, as you start to talk to them about it, you may feel it right now, they tend to start getting a little itchy just from the conversation, quote, says the fire chief, because the fleas in the house, they might have given them the plague or other problems. And according to CBS Chicago, WBBM TV, a Burger King in Chicago had so many flies inside that inspectors say they wouldn't open their mouths inside. This Burger King is on the city's Chicagoland south side and has been closed by the city after the inspectors found so many insects inside that they were afraid to open their mouths. WBBM Radio reports from Keith Johnson that the dumpster task force closed the Burger King at 7 in the south side of Chicago after they found more than 200 flying insects of various species throughout the Burger King. They were spotted on walls, ceilings, shelves, clean dishes, and around the sink, in the food storage area, in a dry storage area, on the tubing of boxes, and on soft drink syrup boxes. And in front of the drive-up window, according to the city's Department of Streets and Sanitation. Additionally, an outside grease container was encrusted with grease on the lip and grip, and grease was found splattered on the ground and on the wall behind the container, the city said. There's more to this from the Sun-Times, the Chicago Sun-Times, and CBS Chicago at CBS, at chicago.cbslocal.com. In Philadelphia, teens attacked, unprovoked teens attacked a lady near City Hall in Philadelphia, according to myfoxphilly.com. The video shot in May shows a woman being attacked in broad daylight. The video shows the woman walking outside the City Hall, where a pack of teenage girls appear from behind her and slam her into the ground, hitting her repeatedly. And that's an unfortunate story that, according to the foxnews.com. And we'll go to a break now. Stay tuned. There's more news on NewsView coming. Welcome back to NewsView. I'm Michael Badger, and Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois visited the East Central Illinois Food Bank, and he says that the struggling economy has put a strain on family budgets throughout Illinois, and more people are turning to their local food pantry to put meals on the table at a time when 13% of Illinois residents live in poverty and the unemployment rate in Champaign is nearly 9%. We need to protect and maintain the important services that are helping families make ends meet and get back on their feet, quote unquote, Durbin said. Now, food banks across Illinois have seen a 50% increase in food assistance requests during the last 2 years, according to sources, and the Eastern Illinois Food Bank has increased food distribution by 24% during the same period. That was noted by Durbin. And in other news, a Tampa teen, according to the International Business Times, was arrested for allegedly planning to bomb his former high school, and a friend is defending him. The unnamed friend spoke to ABC Action News in Tampa, Florida, saying the 17-year-old Jared Cano was just venting when he wrote about bombing Freedom High School. Cano was suspended from FHS in March of 2010. He was expelled the following month for an off-campus burglary he committed. Police say Cano has an extensive criminal record, and the two were planning to play video games Tuesday, but then Cano was arrested while his friend was in the house, according to ABC Action News. And initially, his friend thought Cano was being arrested for marijuana possession, which had happened before. He said, "We've been very, very familiar with him," said Police Major John Newman, and the website FloridaToday.com reported that. And Cano was arrested Tuesday after an anonymous tipster told police about the alleged plot. Police said on Wednesday that they found bomb-making material in his room but no firearms. Cano faces charges of threatening to throw, project, place, or discharge a destructive device, possession of bomb-making materials, cultivation and possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. The police said they also found drawings of rooms inside the high school and notes on which Cano planned to kill on August 23rd, which is the first day of school there. And in other news, according to PCMag.com, IBM has pulled out of the supercomputer contract. 3 years after being appointed, IBM unexpectedly terminated a multi-million-dollar contract with the Federal Research Agency to deliver a 1 petaflop supercomputer next year. This isn't expected to change the Blue Waters project, but according to a statement on the NCSA website, the quote-unquote, the innovative technology that IBM ultimately developed was more complex and required significantly increased financial and technical support by IBM beyond its original expectations. And that's a quote by the National Computer The National Center for Supercomputing Applications, which is located in Champaign, Urbana, Illinois. And they say that is expected to change the Blue Waters Project goal of the timeline. And NCSA spokeswoman Teresh Barker said the National Science Foundation has asked the NCSA to replan the project and name another vendor to fill the 88,000 square foot data center constructed in 2010 in Urbana-Champaign, Illinois, to house the supercomputer. Barker said, quote, hopefully the National Science Foundation will approve the new plan by September. According to the Register, IBM will return around $30 million received so far, and the NCSA has to return all equipment already delivered. Speculating that finances forced IBM to renege, the Register also pointed out that an unexpectedly high price tag forced NEC and Hitachi to pull out of a $1.2 billion project to build a 10 petaflop K computer for the Japanese government back in 2009. Fujitsu eventually completed it, and the K computer now holds the fastest supercomputer in the world title. 1 petaflop is a measure of processing speed that amounts to 1,000 trillion floating point operations per second, or flops. By comparison, a typical calculator can perform just a few flops. IBM debuted the first 1 petaflop computer named Roadrunner in 2008. And one more story. According to Forbes.com and the Associated Press, Illinois has denied 3 hospitals property tax exemption. They say the Illinois Department of Revenue has denied property tax exemptions to 3 hospitals and is receiving applications from 15 others, they said Tuesday. And Northwestern Memorial's Prentice Women's Hospital in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood, Edward Hospital in Naperville, and Decatur Memorial Hospital in Decatur were informed of the decisions Tuesday morning, according to the Revenue Department officials, and that's what they told the Associated Press. This follows last year's Illinois Supreme Court ruling that found the Central Illinois Hospital wasn't doing enough free or discounted treatment to the poor to qualify for an exemption. The hospitals have 60 days to ask an administrative law judge to review the decisions. In Illinois, property taxes are collected by county governments, and the Department of Revenue decides which institutions are eligible for tax exemptions. Illinois Hospital Association President Mary Jane A. Ruth said in a statement that she was disappointed and deeply concerned by the preliminary rulings and worries that hospitals will be forced to reduce services and increase costs for patients and employers, quote unquote. Cook County Board President Tony Pickwinkle said she applauds the state for decision-making pretense, adding that many institutions in Cook County provide a paltry amount of charity care. They also said that Edward Hospital in Illinois applied for tax exemption in 2007, and they said the hospital in Naperville had $448 million in net patient revenue that year, and reported to care equal to 1.04% of the net payment revenues. And you can read more about that at Forbes.com in the Feeds Associated Press section. Now, stay tuned for weather for Champaign, Urbana, and most of Central Illinois with Ann Salm right next, right here on NewsView after this break.
Hello, my name is Anselm Anyanwu, and this is the weather forecast for Champaign, Urbana. Friday night, mostly cloudy, low 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday, 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 30% chance of thunderstorms. Saturday night, 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunday, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, partly sunny. Sunday night, low 65 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. And this has been the weather.